All right, good morning, everybody. Hope you're having yourselves a fantastic Friday and have been enjoying your trading week here so far. A few things for us to talk about here before the session really kicks off in earnest. So, first things first, right? Markets are closed on Monday for MLK Day, Martin Luther King Day. Time's up pretty nicely with the inauguration. So very, very interesting kind of period here, and lots of chatter and chit chat over what that's going to mean for markets. And in reality, nobody knows how price action is going to behave post inauguration. So hopefully that does just create a little bit of a smoother timeline for us, right? And gets us out of some of this potential volatility. This week has been a tremendous reminder over how just obsessing over managing our losses, right, is key. How adding to winners really sets us up to take advantage of big moves, and how if we focus on the quality of our executions, then our kind of win rate is irrelevant, right? And so continuing to focus on those elements certainly sets us up to be in a much stronger situation to be green. And I'm really looking forward to basically building off of some of those good habits that we've been working on here so far this week, right? That really is the primary focus. I think I've got a lot of really positive evidence that that is the case. And I've been really happy with my P&L, maybe not as much with my win rate, but I'm trying to not attach my ego to that, right? Probably one of the best places you can be as a trader is when you can flip a coin and still be profitable or expect to be profitable on that coin flip. And if we continue to build up that margin for error for ourselves in our decision-making process, then being green is a much easier mathematical equation. So the reminder, right? Losing a single trade is not a bad thing. And the more and more that we can treat it as tuition, as information, right, as a cue for what direction the market is moving, then the easier it is for us to basically maintain our psychology and our mental capital for those lessons. And I think that the way that we have been trading here recently, and I'm going to say recently from say the start of November onward, say the last 3 months or so, has really cemented that idea for me in my head, right? The more I detach my ego from my win rate and attach my mental capital, my energy, my focus, my ambitions, right, towards just being the best at executing trades, following my plan, and being deliberate with that plan, easier it is for me to make the money that I'm kind of hoping for on a day-to-day basis, on a week-to-week basis, and on a month-to-month basis. It's been a wonderful journey, right? Where I have seen my win rate drop per trade, but I've added more green days to my monthly total. And so I've kind of gotten my butt kicked, right, on a short-term basis, but used that as a delayed gratification to outperform what I was doing on a monthly or weekly basis. And that for me is a winning formula. I love that. That is something that is fantastic, right? It's something that truly gives me a nice amount of confidence, right, and conviction, and allows me to build up, right, what should hopefully continue to be a strong technique, right, strong evidence, right, that what I'm doing is working, and it allows me to focus on just getting better a little bit each and every day. For those of you who are also going through this journey and are dealing with these ups and downs, keep fighting, right? Keep working hard. Keep focusing on the variables you can control. Keep focusing on keeping your loser small. Keep focusing on closing your trades, right, as your P&L is increasing. Keep focusing on defining what a strong trade looks like before you enter a trade, what invalidates your idea after you've entered a trade, and try to be as specific as you possibly can be. And I promise you're going to find a lot more momentum and a lot more conviction with your ideas. And with some of the conversations I've had here this week, I've been very, very thrilled with the progress that people are making, and very happy with how people are seeing improvements in their trading, how it's helping them get better. And that for me, right, is something that is very, very motivating and honestly puts a big smile on my face. So if you're, in that point where you're break even and, you're, you feel frustrated, right, that you can't seem to get any progress, just focus on getting just 1% better a day, right? Okay, what's the one thing I learned here today that I can improve and adapt to my trading here tomorrow? What's that one thing that I can focus on? What's that one variable I can control and maximize my potential based off of that? Because improving just a little bit more there on a daily basis from our executions means that your P&L is not going to grow 1%. It's going to grow 10%, 20%, 50%, 100%. And then all of a sudden, right, you are accomplishing a tremendous amount of financial success. So I'd love to see that, right? I've been thrilled to see that here from the team. And I gotta say, guys, it really puts a big smile on my face. And I know how close so many of you are here to creating that next big breakout. And I think we've seen it with a lot of the members who have been sharing their progress here in the last little bit, of how when they kind of cross that hill, right, or they get over that little hump, how tremendously aggressive then their progress becomes, right? They go from making $500 a week to 5K a week, or 5K a month, or 10K a month, and just seeing how much more consistent their trading has gotten just by making those little fundamental changes. It's kind of like that scene in Lord of the Rings, right, where when Helm's Deep is about to fall and everything seems like it's going to shit, and Theoden is panicking and he's wondering, oh my gosh, we're gonna die a glorious death here. And then all of a sudden Gandalf and the Riders of Rohan, right, come over the hill, and there's that big light, and all of a sudden everything turns. And it's like a visualization, right, that things feel darkest before the dawn. And it's understanding, right, that our brains are giving us the maximum amount of anxiety and stress and frustration while we're working on overcoming our most painful issues, right? Because our brains don't want to default into doing what is best for us. They want to default into doing what is most profitable. What is most easy, right? And what is easiest generally isn't what is most profitable. So our brains default to doing the lazy, the easy, the comfort zone thing instead of the progress thing. And when we commit to making that path of progress, we then commit to, basically rewiring our brains, right? Creating new connections. And that does not feel easy, right? It's resistance. It's like going to the gym and lifting new weights. You're gonna feel sore, right? You're gonna feel as if your body has been in a car crash, right? Because of how sore your arms are, or your legs are, or your pecs are, or your butt is. And understanding that means you are improving, right? That means that you're getting better. That means that you're focusing on the things that are actually giving you progress. And I love to see that, right? We're in like a gym boot camp here, right, in becoming profitable, and that's what's fun. So we want to focus on those elements, right? We want to focus on how can I get better, and trusting that if I get better, the P&L will follow. And mathematically focusing and forcing ourselves to lose as small as possible is going to set us up, right, to really set ourselves up. So let's focus here, guys, right? Let's focus on getting a little bit better. I'm going to try to continue to be a little bit more vocal with what I'm looking for. I'm going to try to define and say out loud, right, the things that I want to see if my trade is strong before I jump in. To say what weak price action would look like before I jump in, so that we can formulate those plans in our own heads and make it easier to fight back against that anxiety. I think ultimately that's going to make that journey a little bit easier for everyone. And I'm going to continue to make that my focus here going forward, just to make sure that everyone has the information that they need so we can keep kind of building out from there. If I forget for whatever reason, right, I want you guys to hold me accountable to that. So if I don't say what I'm looking for, or you know, hey Michael, what do you want to see after your entry to trust that your entry is still good? Let me know. I love answering those types of questions, right? Those for me are the best types of questions. The questions of, hey, I'm 10 minutes delayed on my market data. What do I do now? I don't know how to answer that in the moment in a calm way. And so I ask that you try to help me help you. And if I miss something, just let me know. I'll do my best to try to plug in those gaps for everyone so that we are in good shape. The other thing, right, is I stress this a lot, and I want you guys to continue to focus on this. But everyone here has their own unique strengths and weaknesses, right? We are all individuals, and we all have our own unique anxieties and stresses and pain points and strengths. And so when we focus on taking this information and we make those thoughts our own, then we remove a lot of that anxiety that we get behind our trading, and we can then understand why we're doing something ourselves. And when we focus on being selfish in that context, then things end up going a lot better for us long term, and ends up being just a lot more of a successful type kind of environment, right? And that for me is really what I care about. That for me is really what I want to focus on. That for me is really what I think is the most fundamental element of how you're going to get better. You get better by being selfish and by solving the pain points that actually cost you money. Instead of trying to be me, I want you to be yourself, right? And to emphasize and focus on becoming the best version of you, and to take the information that you see here on a daily basis and apply your own personal spin on it. And I promise you, that's going to make you a lot more successful here on a daily basis. So if you can do that, if you can get better just a little bit every single day, if you take accountability over how you're going to improve, then I think you're going to find a lot more success, and you're going to accomplish your objectives a lot faster than any other possible way. So that is what I want you guys to obsess over here today. That's what I want you to obsess over on a daily basis. And my job here is to help you maximize your strengths with the information that hopefully I share on a daily basis. So with that being said, let's start mapping things out here a little bit. Let's figure out what we want to do, and let's set ourselves up for a successful trading day. So, okay, nothing too crazy from an economic calendar here today. Looks fine. No 10 a.m. data, so we should have a relatively clear calendar here today. And yeah, let's see if we can kind of shape things up here and absolutely crush today's trading session. So first things first, what's the count here on ES? Let's get going. And a little bit of a longer rant than normal, so apologies for that. Yeah, spot on, Jack, right? So 1 out of 3 here to the downside, and we're potentially breaking out over that trend line resistance, right? So we'll say again at trend line res. So we're either looking for a breakout here, we're going to say to 60-40 and then beyond, right? So then targeting 60-70 and then maybe like 60-100. And then to the downside here, right? Basically a rejection here at this trend line to go back down towards those lows. So we'll call that 59.70. And then we can map it down from there. Does that make sense, team? Cool. All right, NQ. What's the count? What is interesting about this NQ? So we talk about there's two ways of us invalidating quote unquote trending price action. What are those two ways? Yeah, so we break out, make a new higher high, or, right, we invalidate it on volume. So today, right, it's a 2 out of 3 to the downside with volume, but we're opening up above yesterday's implied resistance, right, or yesterday's close, or implied high, right, at 569. So we should, in theory, be able to have some flexibility in either direction here to basically play this trend breakout. Ideally, we want to see that move confirmed with more volume than yesterday, but as long as that previous area of resistance acts as support, we're no longer being told that bears are particularly strong, because if they were strong and that volume was actually impressive, they would have defended that area. Now, does give us probably like 55-45 bias, right, towards still the downside here. So today's implied open hasn't happened here yet, David. We'll see that occur here at 9:30. Yesterday's close, you can see on the daily candle, right, which was 253.75 approximately. So it's the low of the body for red candles. The high of the body for green candles will be the previous close. There are lines that you can set up where you can do the previous day's close price and things along those lines. But it's easier to visualize, I think, in this way. Any questions, team? So Norm, we're always looking for previous daily candle, right? Previous daily volume. So Thursday's candle, Thursday's volume, and then today's pre-market price action. So this green candle here between yesterday's close and today's open is the pre-market, right? What we call pre-market. So that's element number 3. So element 1, right? Candle color, right? Element 2 is it increasing or decreasing volume, and then element 3, is it green price action here so far today, or is it red price action here so far today? So we have a red candle with volume, right? AKA increasing volume. And then the missing element, right, is price action is contrary to those elements. So that's the missing ingredient here. Okay, CL. Red candle, increasing outlier volume, gap down. So 3 for 3 here to the downside. Right, so we're going to have a bullish NA plan here, and we're looking for a breakdown towards 77 and then like 76. Then we go 75, 50, 75, and that's plenty of space. Welcome, Bernie. Hope you're having a great day, man. And guys, there is a video that explains this 3 for 3 market prep system in the Discord if you want to check it out. There's also a strategy document that breaks down those elements, which kind of looks like this. And again, you can find that in the trading docs tab. So if you take a look at that, you should be able to get a decent amount of information. Okay. Apple 2 for 3 here, right, to the downside, opening up in the implied middle, so setting up as an inside bar. And we are not gapping up over yesterday's range, so we've got an NA right here, so we're looking for a 228 breakdown, right, or a rejection inside yesterday's range. I'm going to add a few things to the Discord here this weekend. So bear with me, guys. I kind of have like a plan of how I want to add things. So come Monday, you should see a few changes here. Maybe even later today, some few changes. So just bear with me. I'm gonna make a step-by-step guide, basically in the Discord, of like the, I don't know, maybe 10 things that I want you guys to all obsess over. All right, Tesla inside breezy here. And so we're looking for a breakout over 430, we'll call it, right? Or a breakdown here under 405. And there's been a lot of questions about me making a video on pyramiding. And that will be included in that. So I'll make a little, probably 5 or 6 videos this weekend, and we'll break down some of those examples. Okay, Microsoft swing trade continuing to look great here, right? So we'll see if we can kind of go from there. Yeah, Anthony, just remind me in a few minutes here. So again, right, we're looking, this is a 1 out of 3. We're looking for a 430 breakout or like a BB reversal. So I'm up just a little bit over 15 bucks a share here so far on Microsoft. Cannot complain about that. All right, Amazon again, 1 for 3 here. Oops. And then we're looking for a breakout here over 225. Or right to the downside here, basically like breakdown under 220. Okay, AMD, higher high, higher low, decreasing volume, gap up. So again, right, 1 for 3. I'm trying to fly through these pretty quickly here today, so bear with me. And we're looking for a 121 breakout. Or, right, a breakdown here under yesterday's low of approximately 118. Okay, NVIDIA looks a little bit like Apple, right? So 2 out of 3 here to the downside with volume. Opening up in the implied middle, so setting up as an inside bar. And then we're looking for a pop above 139. Cool. Probably, I'm going to say actually NA, right? Because we're not above. And then to the downside here, so either a rejection under 133, so 133 breakdown, or reject inside yesterday's range. Cool. All right, Meta inside bar. And so we're continuing to look 623 break. I think I still want to just wait for that wedge breakout. This is so dependent on that TikTok news here in the short term. So I don't know if I want to put too much emphasis on this until that happens. Okay, Netflix going into earnings here on Tuesday. 2 out of 3 here to the downside with volume. And so no real bull case, right? And so we're looking for a rejection inside yesterday's range. Or a breakdown here under 840. Okay, and then Google inside bar needs to break out over 197. Or, right, a breakdown here under 192. Cool. And then VIX hanging out 15 spot 82. So realistically, right, if we're going to have a bear case, we'd want to see that VIX get back up towards probably 16, 17, 20-ish. If it's a bull case, right, we'll probably continue to see that drift a little bit lower. And then kind of seems like Bitcoin's been front running a little bit of this index narrative here for the last little bit. So if it continues to show us some reasonable amounts of strength, we should have some joy there. And then I had a request for MCY. So I'm not sure what your thesis is here. But it's still got that gap fill, right, over, say, 54 bucks to fill up towards 58. Little fake out filled that gap that it left from the other day. I would just like to see volume show up here at some point on this ticker if you're going to get that gap fill up towards that 58 handle. Any other questions here, team? All right, sweet. So we got a minute here till market open. Absolutely flew through that prep here today. So we'll be back at it in a couple minutes. Just going to go make myself a quick cup of coffee. And we'll jump back on here in a minute or two. All right, guys, so let's get after it here today. Let's see how the day shapes up, right? See where that momentum kind of creeps in. And hopefully, right, we can have ourselves a strong session. Any questions here, team? Any questions? Good size range, right, to start the day off. Nearly 90 points. That's punchy. Be pretty hard for us to get bigger volume right on this second candle here. And again, that's pretty rare for it to happen regardless. But let's see. And again, I mean, I talk about this all the time, but NQ, she's my baby. So let's see how this thing wants to behave here today. And see if we can find some joy. Again, right? Markets are closed here on Monday. So generally, price action going into a long weekend, usually a little bit muted. Now, there's a lot of like news events, right? They're going to happen on Monday. So there could be a decent positioning trade here kind of setting up today. And we'll see if that is the case or not. But again, we don't need to front run any narratives. It's been a great week here so far. So it's going to continue to be about focusing on the variables we can control, instead of feeling like, oh, I got to make my week here on a Friday. If we just trade the price action that's in front of us and we allow the technique to kind of play out, then we're going to do just fine from a P&L perspective. But if you haven't made as much as maybe you wanted here so far this week, you don't need to force it or rush it or push it here today. If you made more than you maybe thought was expected here this week, right? Don't do something that's going to ruin your weekend here on a Friday. The way I love to look at it, right? It's like that meme or that scene from The Office where it's like, I did a surgeon on a Yakuza boss and I had the most steady hand. It's kind of how we want to behave here on a daily basis, right? I want to be the steady hand. I want to be steady with my psychology. I want to be steady with my expectations and just trade the ideas here in front of me and not attach my ego to that singular outcome. That ultimately is not a successful way or a profitable way to behave here long term. And if we can get away from some of those like nasty habits, I think it's going to make it a lot easier for us to find the success we crave here over the large sample size. So really, I think one of the things you have to focus on as a trader is learning how to delay that gratification so that it isn't the short-term dopamine hits that bring you joy. It's the following your plan, behaving how you say you were going to behave, trusting your technique, trusting your ability, and allowing those like second-order decisions to actually make you money here long-term. Right? It's one of my favorite sayings, but what feels best for your account in the moment is rarely what is best for your account long term. And the more that we can actually believe that and then also behave within that context, the much better our trading goes. So, okay, so far no action here. Pretty chill. We have a chance to go increasing volume here potentially on this candle. Maybe be a little bit surprised if it does show up. And that's just being pushed so far by Apple by the looks of it. Probably Nvidia as well. Okay, did not go increasing volume there. I would recommend trading whatever comes up here on a daily basis, Bernie, right? I wouldn't try to limit yourself to one or the other because we're going to get opportunities in both. I would say I'm probably going to get more opportunities in NQ. I like to put more of my energy and focus into that. But the concepts are the same across the board, just your position sizing will be different. So I would focus on both of those. Right, I pretty much trade 3 tickers. I would say like it's 70% NQ, and then like 20% ES, and then 10% ES, or sorry, CL. So that would be indication of a rejection. So far, David, not as a breakout scenario. If I'm going to get a rejection, I'd probably like to see it a little bit higher up. Generally, those early morning fakeouts are a little bit hard to trust. And again, if I don't get another trade here this week, no worries, right? It's been a great week. So I'm not here to rush a decision. I'm here to trade my technique and trade my plan. If nothing sets up to match my plan, I don't need to put any energy into it, right? Just go enjoy a freezing cold Friday. So far, so chill here. So far, so chill. Decreasing volume on ES as well. So no reversal scenarios here as of yet. No, it's not too bad here today yet, Eric. Next week, you guys are going to get a grumpy Michael. It's going to be like minus 20. Oh my God, shoot me now. But, well, yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. In a couple weeks, I'll be going back to the cottage here. And at least when it's cold, you get the fire going. You hang out in the hot tub. Yeah, before wind chill. So that'll be pretty nice. Oh, that Alberta cold could be next level too. Again, still no. Oh, sorry to hear that, Craig. Oh my gosh. Here I am complaining. You've got it twice as bad. Bless your soul. I don't know. I'm sure we've got plenty of NFL fans in here, but at least it's like the best weekend for NFL football. I'm going to spend a disgusting amount of time in front of my TV this weekend. So yeah, and still no increasing volume for us to be in love with. Hey, I'd love to see a Bills-Eagles Super Bowl, John. That would be the drunkest New Orleans has ever been. Maybe the only thing that would make it worse would be Bills-Lions. Oh, he's a beast, yeah. It's the most fun I've had watching a football player in a very long time. He's unbelievable. Okay, so far so chill. Excuse me. Yeah, you have to be you have to be embracing the chaos if you want to enjoy it. So technically do have increasing volume here on ES. There's your little fake out candle. So that's your setup, right? This is your confirmation. Green candle on increasing outlier volume. Full body bullish candle. For now, this would still be the pullback entry technique. I'm going to go pullback on a reversal. I'd want my stop loss to be at low of day, right? Which is 13 points away at this point. That's a little bit too punchy. Now it might have to just be the aggressive, right? The aggressive technique might be the only way I'm going to be able to get reasonable sizing on this. Yeah, we have no 10 a.m. data for us to be worried about here today. So a little bit easier. Again, I'm going to be a little bit cautious here still, as a lot of our leading names aren't necessarily ripping and roaring here yet. But all right, going to start to watch ES to the upside here. Okay, that's a good reaction. So let's see if we can get decent sizing here. So first thing I'm going to do, right, set up my order window stop loss, 23.50. And we want to see a little bit of a pullback here. So as is, right, this would be a 2-contract play. And I'd be looking for basically this 626 or this 26 area to act as support. Until I see that area really act as support, I don't really want to buy any pullbacks here. Right, so if we're making a breakout and we can't really find support off of our confirmation candle high, it's going to be really hard for me to trust a pullback into that area because that's the most logical spot for bulls to have defended. So if it doesn't give me a look here on the 3, which it's starting to seem unlikely, I don't really have a look here on the 5. But yeah, the fact that it made a higher high, could not hold a higher high above our confirmation candle and then pulled back, makes me think that the entry timing probably isn't going to be correct. So I'm going to wait this thing out. And we'll reset this, right? If it's strong, we want to see our previous areas of resistance act as support. That previous area of resistance has not acted as support here yet. So it's telling me it's not ready. And I think one of the things that's important to note, right, is that it's just a line on a screen until we get a good reaction off of that area, right? So just because I draw a line on a screen doesn't mean that my technical analysis is exactly what the market is doing. Drawing a line on a screen or identifying a point is just a way for me to be able to like visualize my thesis, right? And if I'm thinking about the scientific method, once I've created a thesis, I want to basically see a test of that idea prior to it giving me a move. So even if I'm being, my setup maybe looks a little bit correct, I would have been stopped out here prior to this thing running, right? Because it made a 623.25 low. So I would have been faked out or shaken out prior to this thing breaking out. And I wouldn't have made money on that. So my thesis, right, of a retest of that confirmation high was to help me identify or get good, basically good entry timing, right? If I can't get that to hold, then I'm not confident that my entry timing is going to be correct. And then the reaction after that ends up being a little bit of a random event. So in general, David, I'm not going to make it as a hard rule, but if I'm using the aggressive entry technique, I don't want to see a lower low after my idea, right? No trade here, Oz. No trade. Didn't place a trade. So in general, right, I want to see previous area of resistance, right, act as support for my entry timing, right? And then to buy once that support has been established. But yeah, no trade here yet. Yeah, not good enough volume though for us to call that a rejection. So we have to continue to wait here, right? It's increasing, but it's not outlier. So I'm going to still sit it out until it's perfect. Right? I don't want it to look like kind of a rejection. I want it to just look like a rejection full stop, right? Kind of is a way for me to build up hopium. Oh. It's just whatever the default is. I think it's a 20 period. I don't mess with the settings. I tend to just go default on everything. I'm not smart enough to do exceptions like that. Yeah, fair. Let's see here. No confirmation here yet, right? So no scenario yet to the downside. Again, market's kind of giving us a little bit of a deja vu to what we got there yesterday, right? Where we had that period of an early move, and then it got stuck for like an hour before it eventually then gave us some volatility again. Kind of getting a little bit of that same type of reaction. Okay, so again, possibly looking here for a downside break on NQ. We'd like to see it hold under low of day, right? It's approximately 594. So might not do it here. Did not, right? So we're seeing that 500 area act as a little bit of a psychological support level. So I would say if we were going to treat this as confirmation, we wanted to see at least confirm under 500. Did not do so. So still no entry. So far, so chill here. So far, so chill. All right, so a couple things, right? I mentioned I'm going to do a little bit of like a step-by-step guide, like a little cheater refresher, right, on how to be able to try to, I don't know, like for me to be more transparent, right, with my processes. So I've got 10 things, right, that I'm going to be putting into this Discord server. Let me know if you think I'm missing something, and then I can look to include it into that. So while we wait for things to set up, I'm going to try to be a little bit productive here. This is not necessarily in how the order will be, but yeah, just let me know if I'm missing something. So number one, the pre-market prep system and how I find my levels. Number two, the strategy I take and the setups I trade, both to the upside and the downside. Number three, confirmation standards for bullish and bearish setups based on the strategy. Number four, how to use TradingView, its various settings, how to access the fibs, things like that. Number five, risk management. What do strong and weak trades look like? Where to place your stop loss, things along those lines. Number six, when to use the aggressive versus pullback entry technique. Number seven, pyramiding into winning trades. Number eight, how to join the live stream, where those links are, things like that. Number nine, how to use the setup alerts channel. And then number 10, closing trades and when to hold to target versus when to close before the target happens. Am I missing anything obvious there? And I'll make a 5-minute video on each of those, whatever it might be. Maybe 11 prop firms. Maybe how to journal as well. Yeah, that'll be in risk management. What do strong / weak trades look like? Okay, so now NQ again, right? Starting to look for some potential upside scenarios. Now, the question is, do I go high a day? Yeah. Or do I go red line? I think I can go high a day. That matches pretty nicely. So starting to look here for NQ to the upside. Okay. So starting to watch here, right? Starting to watch. First things first, right? Establish stop loss location. So that's 539. All right, so stop loss is 539. The second, right, is we want to establish where is the point of resistance that we want to see behave like support here, right? So for me, I actually would say that it's approximately this green line, right? It's this high volume red candle rejection. So we'd like to see that area act as support here for a continuation move higher. So that's approximately that 66 area. So far, right, if we're watching this price action, and it hasn't really aggressively flushed under, and we've seen it be able to recover a decent amount. But that also then makes this trade very tight, right? Where there's very little buffer there to be able to jump in. And then if this thing doesn't give me an opportunity on this time frame, right, I'll be able to potentially look at this on like the 3. Again, if we can hold above that previous area of resistance and then target like a high of day type move, or sorry, red line move. And then I'll be able to be, I'll have more buffer, right, on a potential entry. Because buying a pullback here under that area of what I want to see support, it's a little bit scary, right? And buying at that 66, it's like right on the cusp, right, of the size that I can stomach. So 66, right, to 39, I'm risking more than my max loss I'm willing to take per trade, right? About 10% more. So I just don't have, I don't think, enough execution buffer here to be able to take this trade. Does that make sense? So like, yeah, the difference between seeing previous area of support turn into resistance plus getting the position sizing that I want is making it challenging for me to be able to actually execute this trade well. And so far, right, that's looking like a good decision because that area has not acted as support here significantly, right? So that feels pretty decent. Rejection there on volume. Again, not increasing outlier. So I'm kind of in no man's land still. CL though on the 5 or on the 3. Very, very interesting. So now this would be in play here. And then I want to see confirmation candle low, right, act as support. So maybe the 5 min's going to be a little bit of a better scenario. And for now, right, that would be then the the pullback entry technique versus the aggressive entry technique. I'm going to say focusing on the 5. And I'm going to say like my kind of point of interest here is around that 70, right? Kind of where those bodies of those candles are. So we want to see basically them get stuffed, right, where they couldn't close below. Because there is no uniform pattern generally with the wicks, right? There's more of a uniform pattern with where the body's closed. So I'm going to be looking at the bodies of the candles here in this situation as like a visual for a possible entry. And so far we're seeing a little bit of a rejection there, but not like a fuck you rejection. Sorry to curse. That's much better. So this would kind of be the line in the sand to a certain extent, right? We don't want to see it going too much above that 72. Yeah, so that would be potentially because the 3-min is showing you the previous contract, right? And today it's showing you, or the 5-min is also showing you a different contract. So if you remember, right, going back to yesterday, we had the contracts roll. It's just going to be the difference in the contracts there, where it hasn't been fully reflected yet in TradingView. So if you go to the daily, right, you can see yesterday we rolled from the GLG to GLH. You're going to be seeing the February contract on one time frame, the March contract on the other. I think you probably just have to wait. It's an issue on TradingView's end. But yeah, what you're seeing is the difference between the spread of the two contracts. So there's a premium, right, to trading something that's further out or whatever it might be. And that's what you're visualizing. If you want to be specific with it, right, if you go back to this roll, instead of typing in CL1, you type in CLH 2025 and it'll give you the March contract, right? So that would be how you fix it. You go from trading the forward contract or charting on the forward contract, right, to charting on the previous one. Or on the forward one, sorry. Okay, so might have maybe just missed my entry on this. It's funny, like every time I feel like I'm watching price action and I'm like really focused on price action and I've got a pen in my hand, next thing you know, my hand looks like it's been tattooed and I never know quite how it happens. So now we're looking at a 63 stop loss, right, with a retest, right, of our 56 area as our confirmation, right, or as our potential entry zone. I shouldn't say confirmation. So we want to see it pull back, right, into that yellow line, find it getting stuffed there, and then look for an entry. So stop loss 63. So I would say I probably missed this. Fuck. So now, right, the size of the pullback that it would take to get back to 56, probably a little bit too intimidating, right, to buy a first touch of that price, right? Because the pullback's going to be larger than our stop loss. Like, this would be a 2R move already at this point.
Trust me, I completely get it. Strengthening your feet.
Sorry, here in my plantar fasciitis exercises I'm trying to work on. Okay, if this thing continues to break down, then we can start to make our target that 76.72. Get rid of some of these lines here. So we could still potentially look at that pullback technique here now, right? But again, we want to be cautious about the size of that pullback prior to us being very aggressive. The indexes aren't really moving here yet today. Nice work, Jack. Well done. Love to hear little improvements, right? Quick little call yesterday. Quick little $750 here today. That is fantastic. Okay, so now we're looking for a 36, right, type of entry. Stop loss of 49. And I'd be looking at probably 3 contracts here. I'll let this candle close. Okay, guys, I'm in at 36. Let's see if this thing can break down. Only 3 contracts here. That's not the right reaction. Okay, guys, I'm out. Took the loss. Mean. Bad entry, I would say, on that. Fuck. I love to start the day off 0 for 1. Probably should have also cut this out like 42. So what I have in my notes there, right, is that stopped out on the second candle post confirmation, and after the next candle post confirmation was on decreasing volume. Should have cut this earlier when confirmation candle didn't act as support for downside, went above it like butter. So maybe just not cautious enough there potentially, however you want to phrase that. Again, it's fake out holding or bouncing off of low of day without giving me a strong close at that area. So it doesn't mean that my thesis was necessarily wrong. It just means that my timing was incorrect. So I could still look to trade this again, but I should have cut this quicker. Okay, so what's one area here on NQ where we've seen support step up multiple times? Right, so if we're going to play a breakdown here, it needs to hold under that area of support, right, which is, say, 89-ish. So that might happen here on the 10-min, which would be great. So let's watch. We got 2 minutes here. So let's sit it out and wait. So maybe trying to get a possible reversal opportunity here as well on the indexes. 50 seconds to go. But this is, yeah, pure deja vu to yesterday, right? Mucky, crappy, choppy price action on a fake out lower. So let's see. Yeah, but that's also everything is down today, right? Like that looks pretty similar to a lot of our mega cap tech names. But yeah, very interesting. To be determined. All right, so again, now watching to the upside here. All right, increasing outlier volume, fake out lower, held above 500. So it has to be the aggressive technique here. So 525 stop loss. You want to see about 10 points of pullback here. So, like I said, stop loss would be 25.25. Okay, made a little fake out lower. Let's see if it can bounce back up above our confirmation. Too much of a pullback would kill. But this seems to be getting stuffed right at that, say, 35-ish. Okay, better. Much better. So now stop would be 514. We're watching for this yellow line to act as support here. Okay, good reaction. Very good reaction. Now give me a gentle pullback. Come on, baby. Motherfucker. What do you mean, Igor? Sorry. Again, that doesn't clarify it. Of the highest candle compared to 2R, what does that mean? You mean high of day? Are you asking why my target is the 2R range versus high of day? There's just more space. Like it's in my risk reward zone regardless, so it doesn't really make a difference. Okay, so now watching on the 3-min. So 536 stop loss, right? And we're looking for approximately this area to now act as that support. Stop loss could actually be higher, could be 38. Okay, guys, I am in 551. And stop loss at 38. I got 2 contracts here. Right, once it broke out above, right, our point of resistance, a gentle little pullback into that spot, that becomes my entry trigger. Right, so it was like hanging out 47, 47, then big pop higher. And then on that little gentle pullback, right, looking to get in. Understood? Fuck off. Who's calling me? Hello? Sorry, who is this? Sorry. Sorry, I'm back. I'm back. Okay, so there's one retest of my entry price. Don't want to see it doing more than that. It's got to turn that 50 into support and push. Come on. Okay, I'm out. I'm out. Close price of 46. I will potentially look to reset this. Okay, so again, right, we'll try to reset. Man, that phone call happened at the worst possible time. Jesus. Okay, so again, look in here. We want to see that yellow line act as support, right? And then a breakout past it and a gentle pullback towards it, right? Anywhere inside this green line to this red line is an appropriate risk reward zone. So my entry price doesn't have to be exactly that 56 or 566.25. Right? It just has to be the point where I'm pulling back above that, right? Into that area where I'm also risking less than 500 bucks. Again, so that was a little gentle move. Not an aggressive one yet. That's better. So now I want to see a gentle pullback. Okay, and I'm in at 64. In at 64. Much better initial reaction. So it's 64 and stop loss is at 46. One contract. Okay, let's see if this thing can go right away. Ooh, that I don't like. What are you doing to me? Again, decent volume here. Decent volume. Might have jinxed it. Come on. Feel like it's behaving correct. Come on, last chance. Nope. Come on, 60. So the reason I haven't cut this yet is because the pullback seems to be pretty small here so far. So support is acting a little bit like a zone, but not fantastic. I am thinking about an exit. See, gotta go here. Come on. Okay, guys, I'm out. Ooh, bit of a butt kicking. Closed at 52. Man, the fuck. So down 888 here. Motherfucker. Yeah, I'm watching that. The sizing that I would need for this, though, is a little bit unrealistic for now. So we need to get some more separation. It's time 10:47, still early. Better on CL now. Much more of a tradable range on this 3 min. Held under previous low. Sounds good, Jared. Okay, for now, it'd be pullback technique into 37. So I'll probably be looking around that 27 area. Right, can that continue to act as support here for a downside move? Okay, now we're looking for potentially the aggressive 27. And then we want to see previous there, right? New low of day, act as support here for a downside move. Of course, NQ, back to entry price. Kind of a fuck you morning so far. Okay, back to looking at that 27. And what I'm looking to do here for my entry timing, right, is once I am convinced that price action is slowly pulling back over, and I see 28, I'm clicking sell with a limit price set at 27. Right? So I'm looking to enter short on the uptick, not on the downtick. That's how I'm going to ensure I get the fill that I want. Make sense? Okay, so far not pulled back yet, right? So we don't have the reason to click submit. And I'd say probably that pullback, right, all the way through that point of resistance, telling me I can't trade it. Okay, maybe now we're back in business. This is giving me a little bit of PTSD. All right, so now a gentle pullback, right? Again, gets me in business here. That was not gentle. Right, that's faster higher than it's lower. cannot hold above previous high. Really trying to focus on entry timing here, right? Good decision, right, to have avoided this. Say I'm a little bit interested in this ES now. So mean. This little green to red move is very interesting. 46. We want to see 37.25, right, act as support for a breakout towards 46.25. So let's see here if that happens. Technically consolidation. Could also possibly do this here on the 5 minutes. Increasing, not outlier volume. 11.56. Maybe a little bit hard for us to get outlier. So then 34.75. Still inside bar. Okay, so still got to go 3/4 of a point here. We want to see this, right, act as support. Alternatively, you could do a 32.75 stop and find support off of like 34.75. That would be the other alternative. The aggressive seems a little bit more likely. That's what my current order is set up as. And then again, right, if I'm going long here, I want to be buying on the down tick, not on the up tick. Right, so it's easy for me to get my fill price when I'm not chasing, right, the price higher. It's like buying it when it's most scary type feeling, right? Still hasn't exceeded that 25. There it has now. Now we want to see a gentle pullback here. Come on, come on. Okay, so I am in at 38.25, 2 contracts. Gotta run. Decreasing volume, higher highs, got a break. This is so mean from NQ. The reason why I'm being a little bit patient here still, right? No higher high above our entry candle. Let's see if we can keep going. Trying really hard to be specific here. This doesn't feel great though, I would say. Last chance, Saloon. Okay, I've closed this trade. It's too much of a pullback now. And a good decision. Fuck me. This is very interesting too. I could do this maybe. 65 stop. It's pretty interesting. I need 25 points here, right, to be green, which is not much. We're looking around this 8150 area. Okay, still watching here. This motherfucker. I'd say I'm still more interested here in NQ. I really want to see like mean reversion type setup here. Can't seem to get the volume to indicate though. Shaking out of these trades that move, but move very slow. Yeah, it's bad everywhere. Very bad everywhere. And the range is pretty shit, too. Really, the only thing left for me to be able to watch would be a mean reversion type setup. But man, it feels like long weekend volume. Give me a 600 break. So I think I could still probably do something along these lines. So stop would be 89. And we'd be looking for an entry around that 600. Right, around that 601.50. And it's still basically just based off of this same setup right from 1057. So no lower low, no bigger volume than that. It just kind of looks like an ascending wedge breakout here. And around that 601, be able to go 2 contracts. Otherwise, this might give me increasing volume on the 3, and I can look to go other side. We'll watch carefully. Okay, again, so same thing. Looking to the upside here. 603 stop. That gives me good size potential. So gentle pullback here. Under 615.50, right? Has to be under. Man, every winning trade that I've been shaken out of. Like ES flying now. Get the fuck out of here. That's so mean. Okay, I could do this as well right on the 5. So 615.75 stop. Come on, pull back, pull back, pull back. Motherfucker. Okay, watching closely here. Just missed it. Again, watching close. Okay, might be starting to look for a green to red move here. Okay, so a 630 stop. Gosh, I keep just moving. Let's see where it finds support. Can we go back potentially here now to the 5, targeting 624-ish. 15 points, I go to 1 contract. But again, I'd rather go tighter risk, larger position sizing. Personal preference. Okay, so back looking on the 5 here at a 15 stop loss, right? missed the button. Okay, I'm in 627, 2 contracts. Come on. Don't know if I like that candle very much, truth be told. Come on, come on. So far, so good. Let's see if it can go. I don't need much here. Don't need much. What's the low of this candle? 27.25. Got to get up and over. Again, the reason I'm still trusting this is because we haven't made a higher high. So I haven't invalidated my idea yet. I just got the... I got the deja vus. All right, there's my stop. For fuck's sake today. Oh, fuck. 1 sec here, guys. 1 sec. Hello? Oh. All right, I'll be right down. 1 sec, 1 sec. Sorry, guys. Be right back. All right, I'm still here. Okay, so again, fuck. This feels like deja vu to yesterday. So hard to trust. So I'm watching here. Stop 640. This would be the last attempt here of the day. Can't deal with this no mo. And I'd be looking for a retest here of that 616. Missed the entry by a tick. All right, so now I'm in. Average price 617. 617. Oh, stress today. Come on. Tell you what, I'm happy that it's going to be a long weekend here now. I'm fine to play this on the fine, Cabo. Come on, let's see if we can keep going here. Need to see it break down and flush under 600, right? No, Norm, we're going short, not long. We're going short, not long, right? So I'm in short, not in long, so a higher high doesn't help. Oh, what I mean by this, I don't want to see a failed higher high, right? So it makes new highs and then pulls back to my price. That is not a good sign. Right? If a trade is strong, it shouldn't give me bearish characteristics or bullish characteristics and then fail after showing me that. Sorry if that was confusing. I mean, so far so good here. But maybe not moving as quick as I would have wanted. Or as easily as I would have wanted, but... Alright, let's see if this thing can keep breaking. Come on. So let's see if we can flush through 6, right? Give me some momentum, and then maybe I can look to pyramid in and get myself back to where I need to be. Fuck me today, though, team. Sorry. Okay, so we want to see it really flush here, right? Really flush. And we're in okay shape here so far, right? Okay shape. Just about $500 for fuck's sake today. I don't know what happened. This is felt like probably my hardest trading day of the year. I don't know, maybe a midlife crisis. Okay, still consolidation here, right? So we haven't made a lower low relative to our confirmation candle. Right, it's a double inside bar, so a breakdown here should have the opportunity to be relatively aggressive. So 300 bucks here so far. Just gonna get a bit more. Come on. Flush, motherfucker. It's on days like today, which have been objectively not fun. These are the hardest days to just continue trading your system. It feels like you're bashing your head against the wall. Again, if we focus on losing small, we can very easily get back to a green day. Now, I got a lot of work to do. I'm still 1,100 bucks down here, including this trade's P&L. But we've got a chance. I might just start. This is very reactionary. Like maybe on Tuesday, I'll join the stream at about 11, and then just trade that 11 o'clock till 12 o'clock period. All right, so we're doing okay here. So let's do a bit of math. So 585 plus 617 divided by 2, 601. So I can't pyramid in here yet. Still can't that even at this 92. Son of a bitch. So I would need 600 basically as a pyramid price right now. That's scary. And again, if I'm being objective, right, it's probably not the best reaction on a little fake out lower. Let's see. Who's fighting here with me? Anyone? Alright, well, making back a little 500 bucks. Can't complain about that. Again, increasing volume. Not tremendous, but still increasing. Stop is going to be that 607.25. Yeah, ain't that the truth? It's like that in GoldenEye when Alec, he's like planting the bombs for England, James. Yeah, exactly. Alright, there's my pyramid. Uh, 601.75 was that, Phil. Did make a little bit of a mistake on that. I'll be very honest with you guys. I bought 2 contracts there instead of buying 1. So my average price is 605.92. So kind of a bit of a fuck up there. So I'm going to be very careful with this, right? Because, okay, I made a little bit of an execution error on that trade, a little bit sloppy, right? That probably tells me that my mental capital reserves are pretty low. So I have to be very aware that if this thing pulls back, right, my hopium stores are going to be firing at all cylinders, right? So I really need to focus on basically not making a second execution mistake here and really emphasize my ability to close this as my P&L is increasing. So I have a chance to get a little bit lucky here, but that is dangerous, right? So that's why I'm acknowledging it. Why I've shared that with you guys. I have caught myself making a little bit of a mistake. So that's a sign, right, of being freaking tired, right? So I have to be very, very aware that now my bias post making a mistake like that is to hope I get bailed out. So I don't, again, thesis is still relatively strong. But I got to be very careful here. Everyone understand? Again, if this thing can break down, then maybe I could buy another contract, right, with an average The stop loss then of like 88. Let's do some math here. 605, 82 plus, we'll say 80. 580. Oh, never mind. It's gotta die. Okay, so potentially here, right, I can have my stop loss now, 593. Buying another contract, right, at this 80 would get me an average price of 599. So I'm going to look to do that here. Okay, so now my average price here is $5.99. 4 total contracts. Let's see if this thing can break. So we want to see a pretty aggressive flush here. Otherwise, again, right, like I said, I got to manage my hopium here with extreme prejudice. And I'm being very cautious, right, or very deliberate, and I'm not watching my P&L at all. I've just got my finger on the X button. And I'm just watching price action. I'm not watching the ups and downs here of my P&L, because that's just going to make that feeling feel worse. But it does need to die. Golly Moses. I'm sorry about today, team. Not my sharpest day. So about $300 away from a green day, right? Which is, all things considered, not terrible. But also, again, right? That then becomes a bias of, ooh, I'm going to try to hold on. I'm going to get bailed out, right? Whatever it is. So I don't want to think that way, right? I'm acknowledging that these are my biases. I'm saying them out loud so that I can acknowledge the pattern easier and basically make a better plan on how to manage that stress. I know, me and Powell, we didn't have our weekly powwow yesterday, so my bad. I shouldn't have ghosted him. Sounds good, John. Yeah, well done, man. Well done. Flush, baby, flush. Here we go. Keep breaking. Keep breaking. All right, I'm out. Closed at 71.50. Holy Jesus. And guys, the reason I closed that early, mental capital reserves shot, right? So just quick flush, take the P&L. It's $2,200 on that trade. And this is why, right? So when our mental capital, I'm going to be harsh on myself here, right? But when our mental capital reserves get destroyed, we make mistakes, right? We cut our trades early. We ignore signs, right? We cut them too late. We do whatever. And so, okay, I probably could have gotten an extra $1,000 out of this. But truth be told, I'm spent. So I'm not going to try to expect myself to be perfect on that. Going to expect myself to just get out, get impartial, and try again on Tuesday. Okay, now that's a good decision. Yeah, go Eagles, John. Absolutely. So you guys understand kind of like the logic behind my close. Just get out on the first flush lower. Get rid of that stress. Get rid of that anxiety. And just don't put myself in a situation where it's easy to make a mistake, right? I'm trying to be proactive, not reactive. In a really, really tough day. So any questions here, team? Any other questions? Yeah, it was a good size win too, right? It was a good size win too. Again, right? $2,200 gives me a chance to basically make back 4 max losses. And we took no max losses today, right? So that's very, very rewarding. Nice work, Kyle. Love that, man. Love that. Congratulations. Well done for putting in the work and for listening and adapting those ideas to your trading. Yeah, one for 5 today, right? 1 win, 4 losses, and still green. If that doesn't indicate how important it is to take your max losses seriously and to not take full ones, I don't know what will, right? Yeah, I'm starting to like zone out a little bit as I'm looking at price. So I'm not going to do anything else here today. I'm happy to just walk away with this and just kind of sit there stressed out for a little bit and then go do some exercise. So any questions here, team? Final call for questions. So any questions here, team? Any questions? All right, guys, remember, right? Markets are closed here on Monday. And, yeah, it's going to be good to get a good weekend's worth of rest. Watch a lot of football. And just reset. This week was freaking hard. So, same deal like always, team. If you have any questions, hit me up outside of market hours. I will do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. And well done for surviving pretty tough week. So, all things considered, 4 green days, 1 red day. Won't complain, but I certainly didn't make it easy on myself here either. So have yourselves a great weekend, team. Go Birds, and I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Peace.